Think of Old Kingdom Egypt, and the first images that come to mind will likely be the pyramids of Giza and the Great Sphinx. These, Egyptologists assure us, are products of the 4th dynasty, around 2500 BC. Prior to the Pyramid Age, Saqqara went up, the great necropolis 10 miles south of Giza. Built by King Zoser of the 3rd dynasty, around 2700 BC, according to a plan devised by Imhotep, a legendary sage, at once chief of the architects, mathematicians, astronomers, doctors, a sort of proto-Leonardo. Today, Saqqara is an impressive ruin. Even after 3/4 of a century of extensive restoration and repair, it's still difficult to imagine Saqqara in its original, massive, elegant, pristine glory. But a faithful architectural reconstruction comes as something of a revelation. If you were told that this was a new campus for the University of Arizona or New Mexico, designed by Frank Lloyd Wright, you'd regard it as a work of strictly contemporary genius. This went up around 2700 BC. In and of itself, it seems to contradict the notion that this is a civilization barely emerging from primitivism, a civilization obsessed with death, possessing no real science, mathematics, astronomy, slavishly worshipping a pantheon of animal-headed gods. Something doesn't fit. And before Saqqara, there are the mud brick tombs of the kings of the 1st and 2nd dynasties, around 3000 BC. Ruinous today, but originally covered in brightly colored adobe. The paint is gone, but some of the adobe is still in place 5,000 years later. This gives us some idea of the preservative qualities of the Egyptian climate, and as we shall see, it has some relevance to our redating of the Great Sphinx of Giza and of ancient Egypt in general. For we are told that Egyptian civilization began at this time, around 3000 BC, and before that, arising as if by magic out of primitive Neolithic settlements, producing crude pottery, crude agricultural implements and the like, nothing that would suggest the glory of Saqqara, to say nothing of the pyramids and Sphinx, supposedly just a few centuries in the future. There is a contradiction and a problem here, sometimes acknowledged, rarely addressed by the academic fraternity. It might be equivalent to going from the first horseless carriage to the contemporary Porsche or Mercedes, with effectively nothing in between. Perhaps even more astonishing is the fact, also acknowledged but seldom addressed, that Egypt was at its height early in the Old Kingdom. Nothing produced by Egypt thereafter surpassed and seldom equaled the masterpiece